It is the last week of the World Cup, December the 13th, and today we have our first semi final of the World Cup, which will be Croatia versus Argentina, and then tomorrow we will have France versus Morocco. So, just gonna cover the quarterfinals, all of the matches, gonna go through all of them, so it's gonna be a bit of a random one, so there's gonna be stuff coming out of everywhere I think, but I'm gonna try and just go through the order of the matches that were played, and then um, probably will end with all like different facts and stats regards what happened in those matches and the forthcoming semi-finals. So let's start with, I think it was Thursday when we had Croatia versus Brazil, and this World Cup has been, obviously there's been so much drama around it off the pitch, but I think on the pitch it's delivered as well. I think there's so many different things that have happened, first and shocks and stuff like that. And I was thinking about it earlier today in terms of the next World Cup is about 48 teams. So apart from the football, even there's so many different aspects of it in terms of the social and political when you have so many teams, and there's just going to be so much things to write about. Even this World Cup, once the World Cup's, I mean, even this World Cup, you've got France, Morocco, Croatia, and Argentina left, and I think any of them win it. Um, Possibly France a little bit less so because they've just won it, but even then, you could say they're going to become the first. I don't know if a team has ever won two World Cups. I'll have to look that up. But whoever wins it, it's a massive story behind it. Argentina will be the first time they've won it since '86. Messi, Croatia have never won it before. They've been 50% of. They've played in six World Cups, Croatia, and they've made it to the semi-finals on 50% of those occasions. So obviously, if Croatia win it, it's a massive story as well. And if Morocco win it, that is possibly the biggest story of them all. So a lot to play for. So yeah, Croatia versus Brazil. I thought Brazil started off very slowly, and I thought they would get like pick up their rhythm, but they were very poor. Not not sure if it was complacency from the previous match against South Korea, or they just thought they would be too good. But Croatia are a good team, and one of the things about Croatia, even against the match with Argentina, Croatia have got a good mentality. The players are very resilient. I think they can manage games well. Croatia, so especially that midfield and with Modric leading them as well, very intelligent. So Brazil were very poor and they were the favourites to win it. I think most people's favourites them were probably France, and it was a big. I mean, Croatia are good teams, so it wasn't like a total shock. But it was very surprising that Brazil didn't go through that match. I think most people had them down as going into the final. So yeah, Brazil um, got knocked out, and um, yeah, like I was saying, Neymar very poor. I think that was one of the worst matches that he ever had. Neymar that I've seen him have, and don't know if he was still injured or not at the level, but he scored a brilliant goal, and then it was a poor goal for Brazil to give away as well. I don't know how they managed to let that goal in at that stage of the match as well. Neymar, that goal that he scored equaled Pele's record of 77. 77 goals. So you thought, yeah, Neymar. I don't know. Croatia didn't look like they would score. He was thinking once Brazil scored that goal, that's it, it's done. But Croatia equalised, and then it was like a shock to Brazil. I think it was a shock to everyone, but for me, that was a shocking goal to give away just at that stage of the match. It was like a counter attack, and then there was two men spare. I think there was a man at the far post, and there was a Brazil defender who could have marked him, but then there was another player, and I think that was the goal scorer Petkovic who was coming in, or he was one of them anyway. And you're thinking that's criminal to leave that much space at that time of the game. And it was a deflected shot from Petkovic, I think, that came off Marquinhos, and he just beat Alisson. And I was thinking as maybe Alisson could have done a bit better, but possibly the deflection, he probably saw it late and he couldn't move his feet quick enough. But really disappointing for Brazil, and that's they've been eliminated from each of the last six World Cup knockout stage, group stage, well, not knockout stage games against European nations. And I think the last time they won, it was the 2-0 victory against Germany in the final. So the squad that they have, that's a big missed opportunity for Brazil. And I'm pretty sure today the manager Tite has left his post as Brazilian manager, and I think you have to, with the amount of quality that Brazil had, it's you have to be doing a lot better than that as well. Yeah, so that was the Brazil match. And Croatia, the finalist of the last World Cup, fantastic from them as well. And they like going the distance, don't they? Croatia, like I said, they can slug it out. So they kind of drag you, like, no, they don't make it easy for you at all. They take you to a certain place where you have to, like, be at the top of your game. If you're not, you're gonna suffer against them. So yeah, 1-1. Then he went to penalties, and this was another thing in the sense of Neymar taking the last penalty, or was gonna go fifth, but it doesn't get to that stage. So players have done it before, the top players, and it depends, because some people say the later penalties have more pressure on them. But if you miss your first penalty, then you've put pressure on the second penalty taker as well, and the third. So I think you can see it in different ways. But Rodrigo took the first penalty for Brazil and he missed, and then it just puts pressure. And then I don't know, I don't think you can have a player that doesn't take the penalty, because Neymar is one of the best penalty takers in the world, so it's almost a guaranteed goal. So it's funny how I don't know, it just depends how teams see it really, and depends who else you have as a penalty taker as well. So Marquinhos missed the fourth penalty for Brazil, and then Orsic scored the winner. And off the top of my head, I'm just trying to think of the Croatia penalties, and I think they were pretty good penalties as well. So that was Croatia through, and like I said, big surprise. And we'll go on to the next match, which was on the Friday, and that was Holland versus Argentina. And this was I think it's gone down as a classic World Cup match, especially the second half and extra time and penalties as well. So yeah, this was first half really. I think the first half, I was saying to a lot of people, you have to go and watch the first half and see Messi's performance, because a lot of times I was mentioning it to someone, like you talk about a player like a target man who's good with his back to goal, holding up play and laying off the ball. If you watch Lionel Messi when he's receiving the ball with his back to goal, like even in his own half, and like he's running towards the ball, and when it's pinged into him, his control of that football is absolutely incredible. His first touch, it's you have to just watch and focus on it and see how good it is, because he does not give that ball away, protects it, and a lot of the times with his first touch, second touch, he's turning away, so he's not only controlling the ball and protecting it, but he's also like wriggling, trying to get away from you as well, like turning, and a lot of the time he does do it. So it was absolutely incredible just to watch his first touches, and some no his body feints, and some people might say, oh, he's simple, but the first touch is everything, and his first touch under pressure is just brilliant. And so this match, the first goal was scored by Molina, and again, it was absolutely fantastic from Lionel Messi. Um, Molina had the ball on the right hand side. I think he passes it into Messi, and Frankie de Jong is the nearest player to him, and he's turned from him, and then Ake's on him, and I think Ake was doing a man marking job on Messi for a lot of the match, but then Messi's dribbling towards the centre, and he's created space from Ake as well. Just I think it was a body feint, and then he's played that ball into Molina, and I've watched Messi for 15 years, and this is why I've just like still think he's so incredible, because so many times when you're watching him and he does a pass, and you watching the match at home, you didn't even see the match on the TV. Not the match, I mean, you didn't even see that the pass was on when you're watching it on the TV, and then he does it and you're just amazed by it. And this was another one where he's passed it, and I don't even think it, well, it was on obviously for him, but I don't think many people thought that, oh, he's gonna pass it to Molina. But it was just a great vision and pass, and I don't even think he was looking at Molina when he passed it. And to be fair to Molina, the first touch from him was excellent as well, into his path, didn't have to break stride, and the second touch of his was a lovely finish as well with the outside of his right foot. So lovely goal from Argentina, and I didn't think that Holland had too big of a threat. I'm not even sure that they had their first shot on target until the second half. So it was a tough match, but Messi again was looking like the difference maker. And then in the second half, we got into the second half, and then it was a bit of what you say, a cheap penalty, bit soft, but there's contact in the box. So Acuna wins the ball. I think it's about 35 yards out, and then it drives into the box and it's turned. And I'm not sure what, I think it was um, Dumfries who fouls him, and he's given a penalty. And me just thinking to myself, because that Holland goalkeeper, I think he's the tallest player in the World Cup, and you're thinking, oh, Messi's gonna, me personally, I was thinking, don't miss the penalty, don't miss the penalty. But to be fair to him, it was a brilliant penalty from Lionel Messi as well. So I think that was the one. Wait, I'm trying to think which penalty was it. Went to the goalkeeper's left, so it was a bit more of a calmer one, slower run up. It's a good penalty. Then it's 2-0, and then me personally, I'm relaxing. I'm thinking, all right, Holland are not gonna get back into this match now, especially with the crowd. It was probably like 90% Argentina fans. So you're thinking, Argentina have got this now. They can relax a bit. They can just start hitting Holland on the break. And it didn't quite go according to plan, really, did it? Because it was, well, after that goal as well, I'm just trying to look for what minute it was when there was a tackle. And before I get to that, even Lionel Messi's celebration, the hands to the ears, I think it was aimed at Van Gaal, because obviously Holland have been talking pre-match, but obviously they're confident. They got a game plan, this, that, and the other. Van Gaal might have been saying that they play with 10 men without the ball. So Messi was really riled up. You don't usually see that from him a lot, and that's something we'll get onto later on as well in the podcast. But the match got a bit heated, especially when Paredes made that foul. I'm just trying to look if I've got it written down what minute that was in. I think it was the 88th minute. It was when Paredes made the challenge. Then he went up and got made another one, which was a foul, and the ball was loose, and he just kicked it towards the Dutch dugout, and then it's all kicked off really from there. And he got a yellow for that. I think maybe a couple of other players got a yellow for it as well. And then 10 minutes. Actually, I'm missing my. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Yeah. So Holland actually scored the goal in the 82nd minute. Goes the sub, and Holland had made subs and they changed it to just putting big men up front. So I think at this time Van Dijk was up front as well, and Argentina had put their tall defender on as well. They took Romero off and they put one of their really tall centre backs, uh, Pele, I think it is. And then with crosses, you've got two things. Either you deal with the cross when it comes in, or you stop the cross coming in. And I think Argentina were just inviting the pressure on themselves. And if you're keeping the ball, the other team can't cross it. But Argentina, they were taking care of the ball as well as they should have, especially like with Paredes on the pitch as well. If you can just keep the ball. I think the ball went off around the 70th minute, and then you're worrying about the pressing and the intensity dropping a bit as well. And then especially the goal, the weak was the first goal. It was the in-swinging cross from the right hand side where the player was just allowed to turn onto his left foot. Now, if you want to stop the cross, if the player's left footed, just make him force him down the line. So if he does put a cross in with his right foot, it's most likely going to be a hanging cross. But you've allowed him to cross it with his left foot, and it was a great header, to be honest. A little bit of good movement from Weghorst, and he's headed it like kind of a flick on header towards the far post. I was thinking maybe Martinez could do better, but it's good header. And then obviously, if you've scored a goal in the 82nd minute, and that's another thing with this World Cup because so much time added on as well, that 90 minutes comes up, and then you've got an extra 10 minutes comes up on the board, and then you're thinking that's a long time, 10 minutes. And then after that goal as well, Weghorst had a left footed shot as well that just near post hit the side netting, and that was went for a corner. And it's after that that the Paredes challenge happened. And then, like I said, free kick on the edge of the box, Holland had, and I think that might have hit the wall. And then it was a Holland free kick at the edge of the box. Was it the 100th minute? Was it something like that? And then it's an absolutely brilliant work free kick, to be honest, from Holland. And they've said that Holland have been practicing that free kick in training. So I don't know which player it was, but everybody thought it was going to be a shot. And then he's played it into Weghorst. And because of his size, he's held off, I think it was Fernandez. And he's just trickled it in. And you're thinking to yourself, no, this can't be real. I was thinking to myself, alright, it's going to be offside or something, or the linesman's going to raise his flag. But he didn't. And then it was just, oh, this cannot be happening. 2-0 up. And now he's 2-0. And then at that stage, obviously, you're thinking to yourself, the footballing gods have decided that this is not going to be Argentina's World Cup. But because why would you let them score like that and then still let them win? So extra time, Holland, even extra time, Argentina had some chances, and even the last like kick up extra time, I think I forgot who it was, which play it was. He had a shot from the edge of the box, and it's hit the post, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, that's it, it's Holland, because even Holland are going to get confidence in that. Hold up, look at everything that's going our way. So I'm there thinking to myself, this is a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. Then the match goes to penalties, and then Messi's not, I think Van Dijk took the first penalty and he's missed it, and it's a good save from Martinez, to be honest, because Van Dijk did hit his pretty well. Good height for the goalkeeper, and then Messi steps up as well, and then just praying, Messi, if you're gonna lose this final, Argentina, or this quarter final, please just make sure that you score the penalty. Otherwise, we know what the headlines are gonna be. Then Messi slots it in coolly, and I think like something that was saying before about Neymar taking the first penalty, it gives your players confidence. Like the rest of the players, if your big players gone up to take the penalty and he scored, it gives you confidence. Now obviously they can miss as well and then they go another way, but the chances of them scoring, I think like average penalties is like 77%. So especially with the top players, and then obviously just the shootout. Bear is it Bear guys missed the second penalty for Holland as well, and then Pele scored, and then you're thinking, all right, that's it. We're getting a bit of confidence for Argentina now. Then Coop Miner scores, Montiel scores to make it 3-1. Then Rico scores, and then it's Fernandez who has the chance to win it for Argentina, and he missed his penalty. Hits it outside of the post, and then Luke de Jong steps up to score, and then you're thinking, all right, Lautaro Martinez is not having the greatest World Cup. If he misses this now, we're at a critical stage. So he had it to win it. And to be fair, it's a brilliant penalty from Lautaro Martinez to win it as well. And then all hell kicks off loose after he scores the winner. And then it's just incredible relief, to be honest. And you just think to yourself, why couldn't they just have it 2-0 during the normal time and just go through rather than going through all this and then still Argentina winning? It's very, very stressful. And then obviously after the match and stuff was out, there's a lot of stuff. Messi celebrations, going up to Van Gaal, telling him to be quiet, this, that, and the other. Even the penalties when they scored, I think like the Argentina players were saying something to the other players, Holland players, and but at that stage of a World Cup, I don't mind that kind of aggressiveness, to be honest. It's good. But yeah, very, very big relief. And then obviously Argentina go through to play Croatia, which will be today. So yeah, and then the Portugal match as well we had on Saturday, and I missed that match because I was at a family function, but I was praying for Portugal to get knocked out of that match. And like I said on the previous podcast, it was one of the greatest days of my life. That was to see Portugal knocked out. So I can't really talk about the match too much because I didn't see it. I saw Ronaldo heading down the tunnel, clips after, and for me, it could be a separate podcast after the World Cup, to be honest, about how Ronaldo handled these last couple of months, and how it could have affected his teammates internationally and domestic. So yeah, Portugal in a seismic shock, you'd say, because Portugal, whatever people might tell you, they've got some very good players. And even though Morocco have done very well, you would have expected Portugal to go through in that match. And even their players post-match blaming the referee and stuff like that. And even the referee Lahaz in the Argentina match, he was too card happy. He was too card happy, but I don't think anybody was surprised when he was named the referee anyway. People who watch Spanish football. So yeah, Portugal got knocked out. Ronaldo's going crying down the tunnel at full time. Some people were saying he was laughing, but I'm not sure. And then we had the England match as well, and fantastic strike from Tchouameni to start things off for France. And then Harry Kane scores the penalty, and there could have been a penalty before, but I think it was just outside the box. Then Giroud scores the header. It was a fantastic cross from Griezmann. I think Giroud had a chance before that as well, a left-footed like side foot volley, and it was pretty much straight at Pickford. If he had been more in the corner, it would have been a goal. But yeah, so France 2-1, and then I don't know what Hernandez was thinking of when he gave that foul or pushed him out. And this is something about French players as well, or the French defenders. They're very aggressive, and sometimes they make tackles that it looks like the tackle doesn't need to be made, and they end up giving away a foul, or it should be a foul. And that was another one where you're thinking you don't need to do anything. I don't think even Mount was gonna get to the end of it, so there's no need to really do it, or not that aggressively. So the penalty got given. So that was Harry Kane's second penalty of the match to equalise, and he's missed the penalty. He skied it high to his left, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, maybe he shouldn't have taken the second penalty because Lloris knows where he's gonna go and this that." But I don't. He's the main penalty taker, your first penalty taker. I think he has to take the penalty, and then it just comes down to whether who's gonna psych each other out more. But even if you look back at the penalty, I don't think his technique he hit it right or like he normally does. So it was a really bad penalty, and players can miss penalties. Doesn't matter who you are, what stage of the match, is to equalise. And it was like in the 83rd minute of the match, and there was a little bit of a wait as well, so maybe that affected him. But I think again, England got knocked out, and it was a case of you have to play Morocco. So there's a huge chance, like, not to be disrespectful to Morocco, who done fantastic, pardon me, but France or England would have fancied their chances against Morocco if they had gone through. And it's another one where Gareth Southgate, you're thinking maybe just go for a bit more. I mean, it was a pretty even match, but France just seem like they can handle those different stages, and obviously they've got like that different maker of like Mbappe, or like, but they got that experience as well. So it's disappointing from England, to be honest, because it was a big chance, I think, for them to get through, and now we're gonna see what happens to them after, whether Southgate's gonna stay on or not. And I think maybe you should. I think there's only like 18 months left to the Euros 24. So obviously with this World Cup being the winter one, it's not 2 years. So for me, I think he'd probably stay on, do another Euros, and then go. Um, but that's it. So we got our semi-finals: Croatia versus Argentina, and France versus Morocco. So let me just go through some of the things that I have got written down, so like stats and stuff like that. So alright, where are we now? So Messi was the youngest player to score and assist in a World Cup game versus Serbia in 2006. I'm not sure if I've done this before. Yeah, so 18 years, 357 days, and he's the oldest player to score and assist in a World Cup match versus Holland 2022, and now he's 35 years and 160 days old. Argentina have won the most penalty shootouts of any side in World Cup history, 5 wins from 6. Spain have 4, and they've lost more shootouts at a World Cup than Holland, who have 1 win in 4. Argentina have progressed on World Cup quarter final for the 4th time. They went on to reach the final each of the previous 3 in 86, 1990 and 2014. There was 15 yellow cards shown to players that entered the field of play in the Holland vs Argentina match, and that's the most in World Cup history, overtaking the Cameroon vs Germany in 2002. I think that was 14, 12 yellow cards and 2 red cards. So Croatia have reached the last 4 of World Cups on all 3 occasions. They have made it out of the group stages, so 98, 2018 and 2022. Brazil have been eliminated from 4 of the last 5 quarterfinals. Brazil eliminated from each of the last six knockouts. I think I went through that. Neymar's top scorer. So Neymar scored 3 goals in 6 World Cup appearances versus European nations, and all 3 have been against Croatia. 2 in 2014 and 1 in this match just gone. Morocco are the first African team to qualify for the semi-finals of a World Cup. All the others have been eliminated at the quarter-final stage. So Cameroon in 1990, Senegal 2002, and Ghana in 2010. Portugal eliminated from a World Cup quarter-final for the first time. Previously progressed from other 2 matches, 5-3 against the Republic of Korea in 1966, and 3-1 penalty shootout in 2006. What else? Cristiano Ronaldo failed to score in all 8 knockout stage appearances at World Cups, including third place playoffs. He's gone 570 minutes, that is, without scoring a goal, and in the process taking 27 shots. France have reached the World Cup semi-final for the 7th time, and the first time they've done it in consecutive tournaments since 1982 and 1986. It's the 7th time England have been eliminated from a quarter-final, more than any other side in the history of the World Cup. And French manager Didier Deschamps' 13th World Cup win in just his 17th game in charge, so he's drawn 2 and lost the other 2. And only Felipe Scolari with 14 and Helmut Schlan with 16 have won more. So what else have we got here now then? So free kick, let's see, hands, yep. So just a couple more minutes, and a bit on Messi, aggressiveness that we might have seen in the previous, in this tournament. Maybe his move to France helped him come out of his shallow bit, and with being a new experience, it might have just helped him as a human being in terms of adapting and going through a bit more adversity, and being able to handle different situations with different players, different media, different country. Not sure, but we'll see. And Messi can equal Lothar Matthäus' record of 25 World Cup appearances today if he plays, which I'm sure he will. And in 2006, when Modric made his debut for Croatia, it was actually Messi who also scored in that match as well. So it was Modric's first cap, and in that match Messi scored as well. So 2006, that was, so 16 years, so they're both still going. So pretty sure this will both be the last World Cup for both of them. And I think I'm just trying to see what else. So just looking ahead to the semi-finals then today and tomorrow, Croatia versus Argentina. I'm thinking that Argentina have to go with a 5-3-2 again as well, because Croatia, they like that diagonal ball from right to left, back post to Perisic. So I think that's something that Argentina really have to watch out for. Acuna is suspended, unfortunately, for Argentina, and Croatia have the better midfield, and they will most likely dominate that midfield as well. I'm not sure Argentina will mind too much, but Argentina are going to have to be clinical when they do get those counter attacks. And like I said, they will have the support, Argentina, and I think those players, actually, they are an emotional team kind of. When they have that backing from the fans, they are passionate, but we also have to be careful, Argentina, I think, not to let that emotion overtake them and start making silly mistakes, and inviting pressure, and not just losing the match in 5-10 minutes of mayhem, being able to just ride through that storm, so to speak. So I'm praying that it's Argentina, and like if it goes to extra time, we won't be surprised, seeing as it's Croatia. So hopefully some Messi magic can take them through. And France versus Morocco again, you'd have to fancy. I think Morocco might have a few injury problems, to be honest. And just before I've done this podcast, I saw that France might have a illness going through their squad. So I'm not sure if that's been verified. I'll have to check that when I get off. But France, Morocco are a tough team as well. But France have got that experience. They can do both. They can counter attack you. I think they can keep the ball. Um, Mbappe is always a threat. The goalkeeper, I think, I'm not a big fan of Lloris, but you'd have to go with France, I think, even if it does go into extra time, because just they got that threat of Mbappe, and that's just on all match. Even though I don't think Morocco are going to give them too much space, but also Hakimi, I think he's Mbappe's probably best mate. They will be facing each other, so yeah. I think we're in for a bit more drama yet to add to the World Cup we've had already. So hope everybody enjoys the games, the semi-finals, and let's pray. Well, I'm praying to get the final or the winner that I want. So yeah, thanks for listening. This has been the longest podcast so far. A lot to get through, and thanks for listening. And take care and enjoy the matches.